Where is it, Lord? Asking myself, asking God, I'm saying, where is it, Lord? What's caused all this? Because I know that you didn't make that person with anxiety. I know you didn't make that person with self-harm issues. I know you didn't make that person an alcoholic. I know that, Lord. So what caused this? Okay? So again, when they're telling me about their story, when they're telling me about their story with the Lord, and they're telling me all this stuff, they're telling me this is their problem. They're saying, this is why I'm in this group. This is my problem. And I'm going, whatever happened to you is your problem. This has not been healed. So there are things that caused these issues. So some of the things that cause it, so I have down here abandonment, sexual abuse, neglect, rejection, physical abuse, whatever. These types of things are the root cause. But what I'm looking for is I'm looking for a specific incident that happened to them that they have not been healed from that is causing these symptoms. One thing in somebody's past that is not healed can cause all of those symptoms. So I am looking for the big one. I am looking for the big root, kind of the root of all. And also this picture is right in your workbook too, okay? This picture, there's one that looks just like this, and there's one that is completely blank that you can fill in your own stuff. But I'm looking for specific issues. So let's say, so like my story. When I started getting help, I had a whole bunch of different addictions. I had mental illnesses, I had shame, I had anxiety. I had all this stuff going on. My life was a mess. But if you go way back into my story and you find out what my biggest hurts were, the very first one was my parents' divorce. Then after that, it was being molested. Then after that, it was being raped. And then the story just got worse and worse and worse, and abusive relationships and this and that. But what was the root of all roots? The divorce. That is what started me on a really bad path. Now, there were several other things that happened to me after that also kind of became like root causes. But the root of all roots, which is the big one you want to find in somebody's life, for me, it was the divorce. So everyone has a different one. And right now, even as I'm talking, you might be going, oh, I know what mine is. You want to find the big one, okay? A lot of people will go too surface in this. They'll go, oh my gosh, this person has addictions and self-hatred and all this stuff. And they're also, when the person's talking, they're saying, when I got this coworker at my job and they're just rude and I don't feel comfortable there. And then somebody, who's mentoring them will go, oh, it's the coworker. Oh, that's what it is. Well, that's only a few months ago. I bet this person had a lot more of these issues for a lot longer than that. So what really happened? Where's it really at? Was it abandonment from their dad? Was it, this, the sister was favored or this, or I was bullied when I was in middle school and ever since then I've been afraid, or ever since then I've had issues with my body or, whatever. So you, as they're talking, you are looking for the root of all roots. You're looking for the big one. Because if you are able to help that person get unstuck from the big root, a lot of these symptoms just go away. You don't need to manage somebody's anger. You don't need to manage their addictions. You don't need to manage their mental illness. You need to find the root of all roots and help them heal from that. Yep. And all of a sudden, these things just start to go away. They start to not really need the alcohol as much because it healed from what caused the addiction. They healed from what caused the anxiety. Does that make sense? So when people are talking, you're only looking for one or two roots. You're not looking for all the roots, okay? It's easy to go, well, my gosh, this person has 60 roots. This happened to them. But no, just look for one or two big ones, okay? And it's usually more like early childhood or teen years or early 20s, something like that. But it's usually kind of a while ago, unless somebody had a really great life and then all of a sudden something happened when they were 25. Their husband left them or their wife left them, and all of a sudden that's where everything changed. Because what you're trying to find is, when did all this start? What happened to make this a reality in their life? And some people will tell you, I've had people say, well, I struggle with depression. I've been on meds, my whole life. Like, really, your whole life you've been on meds? Well, I know that's not true. They're not going to put a baby on meds. So I'm like, really? So I pretend like they didn't even say that. When they say, like, well, I've been depressed all my life. I've been on meds all my life. I pretend like they didn't even say that, and I'll respond with, so when did you first experience depression? Well, it was when I was 12 years old. What was going on at 12? Well, this happened, and this happened. There it is, right there. I know exactly that that's the root. They weren't depressed before this happened. Once this happened, they've been depressed ever since. They've been on meds ever since. If I were to have the power to be able to remove that one situation out of their life, would they still have depression? Probably not. So I'm looking for that. And again, in these first couple of steps, I'm not trying to get them unstuck yet. I'm just locking it into my brain, or I'm writing it down in my leader's guide that that's where they're stuck. The divorce, the being molested, the whatever. And if I can remember what they said, like 12 years old or whatever, because later on I'm going to use that information to show them that's where they're stuck at. Does that kind of make sense? Okay. Is lunch ready? Okay. Okay, I think what we're going to do is we're going to have lunch now, and we can totally talk during lunch and all that.